Well, it's Friday.
It is.
It is indeed Friday. And we're sitting here back in the garage. We had a lot of people say nice things about us being here. So we are continuing to be here. And I'm excited about that.
And it's comfortable.
Yeah. Oh, can you hand me that horn button, Dad's horn button? And the MGB surround. I'm going to keep adding pieces of my cars, my old cars back here. That is the taillight to my 1963 VW, which was my high school car, and it got totaled for me by a lady who ran a stop sign because the roads were snowy and she didn't understand how braking in snow worked because she's from somewhere else, because we were right next to a university, and she went right through the stop sign and right into the side of my poor green bug. Dad and I pulled the whole thing apart. We disassembled the entire car so we could save as many parts as possible, and then sold what was left of the body, just the shell, to Aragon, and it's gone. But anyway, I kept that. That's neat. This is my current MG. But this horn button is from Dad's 56 Volkswagen. I believe maybe 53, I don't remember. But it was in his effects. We just inherited a bunch of this and that desk stuff from him, and this was in there. So I'll put that up somewhere.
And then we can go beep, beep. Or it could be like those old 90s Staples commercials, or the 2000s with the red button. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do. Actually, you know what this would be? What this could be? Well, this is a clicker button switch, just like the garage door button. Literally.
Yes, you should put it over there.
Honey, I could also put it right there.
It's true. But then if I'm like walking in here.
Well, there's nothing. I'm running one. I can rerun two. You can have as many things. But I think that would be hilarious.
It would be hilarious.
I think I'm going to have to find a way to do that. But where am I going to put the wire?
I have no idea.
I could always actually, if I put it on that side, I could hide the wire behind the burlap sack and the temperature, and run the wire across that coolant pipe and right over there to the unit. I could absolutely do it. In fact, it'd be one of the easiest things to do.
Wow.
I think that's pretty gosh darn clever. Okay, well, sorry about that, folks.
Yeah,
oh,
sorry.
should we do wrist check?
Sure.
Okay, let's do wrist check. Time for wrist check.
Yes, I'm just, my 6105 is not running properly, so I'm wearing my Omega.
Well, that's a great watch anyway. And I'm wearing the SSK 005. And there it is, and I have it on a Z99 bracelet. So these bracelets were originally for the 7548 7000X series. But so far, I think it's nice. I think having the all brushed surface on the watch and the bracelet kind of unifies the case and the bracelet, and it focuses all the action right here. This is like the shiny standout part in like this more, toolish, worky look. I think it gives more of a note of, like, I don't know, seriousness to it. That's just my take.
I hope that was informative.
I hope so too. I can't wait to find out what I say.
From watching Brief, you guys are legends. Oh.
There's such thing. Well, thank you. It's nice of you to say.
Yes, I've been with my partner for 41 years. Only gets better with age.
41 years. Wow.
Good for you guys.
Good for you. That's awesome. Yeah, that's great. We always have to be vigilant in a marriage. I mean, I've known people married for 20, 25 years or more, and they just get divorced because they just kind of let things die.
Well,
it takes work, It does take work every day, a little bit of work, but it's good work to put in, because the people around us are the things that actually matter. Things and stuff and all this other crap, that doesn't matter at all. It's just the people around you.
That's so sweet.
But it's true.
I know it is. Nathan Bards. Spencer and Sabrina, fantastic video this week. Thank you.
Thank you.
A question for next week's mail call. I recently bought a Seiko SSK005 Mican GMT and haven't been able to take it off my wrist. I recall you mentioned you may make a video about modding a 4R34 GMT model to include a screw-down crown. Is this something you have looked into recently? I would love to see more 4R34 content on the channel, as the past number of videos have been very insightful and fun to watch. Didn't we just sell one?
Sell one what?
A 4R34?
No, we were gonna list a 4R37, which is the slide rule watch, and it's got the 24-hour indicator at like 11 o'clock. But yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they are. All this stuff is in the recent series of videos I did, as I could get myself to do them, of looking at the entire, how the whole thing is built and how they were put together. I did do a side-by-side, and I was pretty confident. I'm like, Seiko, they don't like changing stuff, if they can maybe save some money and not change stuff. But in a lot of ways, it's the case and everything. It looks the same on the outside, but in many details, it doesn't swap over at all. A lot of it has to do with the height, because the hand stack is a whole lot higher. But that was actually, when I was thinking about it, that wasn't to make clearance in room. The clearances are pretty tight. The reason the hand stack is higher is they've got to account for all the wheels, and the wheels are being higher because of that compound clicker thing that everything is built on, and that raises the height, and they have to account for that. I was hoping that I could just drop it into a, SKX case, but you can't. I haven't been able to do it, because even though the movement will go in, the chapter ring and crystal are actually like half a millimeter or a millimeter bigger around the diameter. They won't fit. Mm-hmm. So you could physically put the movement in, but it wouldn't have the 24-hour chapter ring, and rotating ring won't go on. I tried putting SKX 007 and this one, trying to cross any components. The only thing that really, there are things that swap, but nothing that would allow for a usable watch that had the elements that these things like.
Okay.
You could do it. If you had if you dropped it with just an orange chapter ring, no, because you wouldn't have the rotating ring. If you got rid of the rotating ring, you could put it in just a blank bezel case, see what it looked like. I don't know what I'm thinking about this.
I don't know. Sorry, I wasn't actually kind of listening. I was reading this thing over.
That happens all the time.
What, me not listening?
Well, yeah, because I just start talking. I don't even listen sometimes.
You don't listen to yourself? Or you don't listen to me?
I always listen to you.
Oh, that's nice. Jeff117. Oh, wow, I understand those longer videos take a seriously long amount of time to make, edit, and put up. I did enjoy them, though. YouTube content creators all over are changing what they produce. I'm going to miss those longer, more in-depth videos. At least we'll have mail call to look forward to on Saturday mornings. Thanks, Spencer and Sabrina, for all that you do and have done.
It's just they're super, super, super time consuming. I'm still going to be putting out content. In what we're basically doing, honestly, I did, as we started getting more and more popular, which is nothing we expected, I started putting a lot of expectations on myself for, because I'm like one of these people pleaser people, and so I want to, oh my God, all these people are watching my stuff. I have to make sure I'm putting out content, good long content, so I'm keeping these people happy. And it's like, that's not what actually made people start watching. What made people start watching was what is now becoming a trend, which is what I was doing originally, because I just filmed the damn thing and put it up.
Yeah, editing didn't
happen.
Yeah,
I didn't edit it at all. I would just film it, and I would have the most basic title of what it was, the initials of the owner, the model of watch, and that's it. I didn't do anything else.
Yeah, it's not that he's going to stop making videos altogether or anything. It's just that, he can't get through watches very quickly if he's stopping every, few minutes to record something and talking the whole time and going slowly. It's not a tutorial.
No, it's not. It also, seriously, because when I'm filming stuff, I'm extremely conscious of the fact that there will be many, many, many eyes watching what I'm doing. And so I move more slowly. It makes servicing the watches actually more difficult because I have to deal with more stuff over my bench. I'm having to second guess things because, again, I have eyes watching me. It makes it very hard to drop into flow. If I can't get into flow, my brain is always thinking of something else, and I don't really have my mind on the work, and that's when I screw up. So I'm going to still make videos, but I've decided that what we've been doing is just too professional, and we need to basically strip that out and go back to being just flat out amateurs.
Yeah. I like being an amateur because it's not my job, it's part of.
Yeah. So if you really, really love low quality amateur content, stay tuned.
Yes. Tom N. Hi SNS. Good to hear that real folks are getting their due on YouTube. Any YouTuber who says they'd like to make a video but won't because it won't get views gets dropped lickety split. My watch story. So do you want to address that before I carry on?
Well, the point being that if
somebody is just like, give me views, then people are like, peace out.
I don't care about views. I never expected anybody to watch any of these videos. It's not why I made them at all. Literally, all my customers are remote. I've only physically seen with my own eyes 2 or 3 customers, maybe. And I didn't like the idea of, I don't personally like shipping my stuff away to someone else to fix and then getting it back and being like, I just don't like doing it. So I don't know. It's just one of those things.
What?
I'm sorry? Well, no, I hadn't finished answering the question.
Oh, okay.
But now I've lost my point
Yes.
because I got distracted.
Sorry.
So can you read his thing again?
Oh, nothing. He was just saying that he said any YouTuber who says they'd like to make a video but won't because it won't.
Oh, yeah. In any case, so I was making all these videos, and it was an absolute shock to me that I was like, why are people subscribing to me? I didn't make any sense to me.
Okay, my watch story short version. In 1985, my girlfriend, now my wife, and I bought Seiko 7828 7049. It was literally my daily come what may. It was replaced with a fossil watch and relegated to a drawer. I almost tossed it, but recalled that some years earlier a Seikoholic co-worker had mentioned that it was an interesting piece. I read up on it, caught the watch bug, and here we are. I still have it in the watch box. Question: are analog quartz watches also susceptible to damage if the date is changed with the hands between 9 and 3?
I would just assume yes, because regardless of how the watch is driven, regardless of where the power comes from, the calendar is going to be manual, and it's going to work the same way in every analog watch, regardless of where the power is coming from. So even if the watch would be okay, it's a bad habit to be in.
Okay. All right. Oscar Gustavo Arcos Ruiz.
Seriously, every single time. In fact, I'm
I
not joking.
murder your name every time.
I'm not joking, and I'm absolutely not making fun of you. I think that's a fantastic name. And if that was my name, I would be tempted to have it on a t-shirt.
Anyway, apparently I said that's what she said at some point.
Yes, you did. You were laughing like crazy.
I was? In Colonial India, Muslim soldiers complained about the pork oil in their rifle cartridges. Wait, why were we talking about oil that one time? And you were talking about whale oil?
Yeah, because we were talking about, what kind of oils and how they behave and what were earlier oils used before synthetics and other, modified mineral oils.
Okay, anyway, so the Muslim soldiers complained about the pork oil in their rifle cartridges because biting them in order to open them and place the load in the barrel of the gun could compromise their entrance into heaven by consuming pork. With cow oil, Hindu soldiers could not bear that a sacred animal was being used to make oil. You are right, the best thing is to stop colonizing other countries already occupied with their own human population and for everyone to consume what they want. Yes. Okay, On another topic, how come you guys have 13,800 subscribers? It should be 1 million.
God, honestly, we don't want that.
No, I don't need that many people knowing me.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that anybody knows who we are. I mean, all of my videos for the first, God knows how many years with just my hands.
Yeah, I know.
It was
remember.
like people were like, let's see the face
Yeah.
behind the hands. Okay, careful what you wish for.
Well, here we are. Anyway, 2 questions for Spencer. 1, what is your opinion about Ming watches?
Never heard of them.
He asked if you thought it was overvalued or a really good micro band. I guess brand, not band.
I should have researched that. I'm so sorry.
Jeez.
I literally don't know the first thing about
Well,
them.
then let's learn together.
Or is it? Are we talking Ming the Merciless? If it's Ming the Merciless, if it's Buck Rogers themed, you know. Well, it's got a real Art Deco thing going on. 90s. What a strange handset. So there it is. It's sort of those flared lugs. So is it a chronograph or just a watch? What?
No, I'm laughing. It's like there's your example of us not editing or being prepared at all.
Huh. Does the second hand have that floating diddly on it?
What's a diddly?
That diddly, the pointy triangular diddly there at the end of the thing. Because it's not actually touching it. I wonder what that crap is. Wow, there's a lot of pictures of it. It looks like they've got shell cordovan strap, which I'm always kind of hesitant about because it's made from horse. And you know, I think horses need their stuff.
Poor horsies. 2, I am a fan of the Omega Speedmaster MK4, mainly because of its Cal 1040, which is actually a Mania 5100, so I am a fan of the Mania 5100. Do you think the Speedmaster is the best watch with that Cal, or do you find any other more interesting?
You know, I really only found out about that movement because I wanted a Mark IV. I can insert a picture of it, like right. I'll insert a picture of it here. So I was captivated by the watch first, the look of it. Before, I mean, I'd done some reading. One of the things I don't like, buying, the top shelf #1 name brand, like the most expensive, amazing thing. I like to. It just seems a little, not, I guess, show off, something like that. But I lost my point again.
We're talking about Omegas. The La Mania 5100.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I'm gonna trim it to right here. So I was really taken with the look of it. I had read some stuff about, different Omega Speedmasters, and that one I just really liked the look of. And because it wasn't like a mainline one, like I wouldn't have to be confused with, it's a little more obscure. It's a little more niche. And so I really liked that. I also liked that those were only made for like 15 or 16 months. They weren't made for long. And they weren't like very popular when I bought mine. They were still kind of undervalued in my mind. I'm like, that it's a Speedmaster. And by that point I'd been reading more about the movements and I was like, that looks like a cool movement. So it's really cool. But I've owned 2 Seamasters. I've owned a Seamaster and a Speedmaster with that caliber. And I rebuilt both of them. In fact, I just went through the Seamaster. I just went through it. 167.007 is that model. And so I really, like this last week, I was really looking at it really closely. They're beautifully made. They're beautifully made movements. And the great thing is they are deceptively simple. Deceptive. They look really complex and intimidating, but actually it's a clean, minimal design. The things that are in there there isn't just a bunch of crap everywhere. Like it has like because the minute hand and the minute counter hand are basically both moving at the same time. They're both counting minutes. That the minute counter hand has to be able to stop and go. You have to, just like a 6139 or 6138, you've got a clutch. You've got a clutch and you got a reset. But man, the Omega clutch, that thing is so burly. It is amazing how crazy burly that thing is. And I was looking at it, and it's a lovely, simple movement. Long story short, the point, I don't really know any other models that use it. I'd love to look more at it, but honestly, I haven't thought about it recently, but I will now.
Mania makes me think about something 80s. Like, is there some album called Something Mania?
There's Pyromania.
Oh, Def Leppard?
Uh-huh.
Is that why I'm thinking?
My personal opinion is that Def Leppard, Pyromania, specifically all that stuff is perfect garage music.
It is. I love me some Def Leppard. Anyway, questions for Sabrina. When does your new video come out? I don't know. I wanted to do it about the proof and resist watches, and then I started researching, but it's kind of a long topic, and I didn't want to feel like I was in school and writing a paper. So I'm kind of going back and forth between doing, things and that. So
I think it's wonderful that she's doing them at all. I'm not. We've had a long-standing misunderstanding, Sabrina and I, regarding, whether it's a long story. But in any case, I'm just delighted to have her here. And she will do videos or not do videos as she sees fit. And if people like her videos, she sees that, and I will certainly tell her about it. But it was never intended to pressure you to make more videos.
No, I'm the one that
I know.
came up with the whole thing because I didn't think we had enough content. But,
I was delighted.
Well, no, but also I'm like, you talk to me, and as I just showed before, I was just like, ooh. And I just stopped listening when you were talking about flyback things or whatever. I think that made me think of, like, windsurfing, and I don't know why. It sounds like literally like a day glow kind of Saved by the Bell surfing.
Yeah, well the thing about the flyback, since you weren't listening, I'll tell you, but I have a much shorter vision. The thing about the flyback is that means you can reset the hand when the watch is still running. And that's useful. It's like a stopwatch. Like if you're timing laps or something else like that, because you can record each one and then you reset it when somebody comes by. You don't have to stop it and reset it. You can go boop and it's instant. But you're forcing the clutch plates to work against each other. And if you do that a lot, I have to believe that it's going to be detrimental to the chronograph wheel, because you're putting stress on something that I don't think was I don't know. The only thing is I'm not sure if there's an automatic release on the clutch. I don't remember right now. If there's an automatic release on the clutch, then it would be fine. Anyway.
I learn better by reading and taking notes, not by listening. Like him, I have ADHD too, and mine's super inattentive, so I have to work really hard to pay attention to something that isn't super number one interest to me. I'm so sorry.
No, it's the same thing. Words, like written words, I mean, I'm a good writer, and I'm certainly literate, but I learn things by seeing and by pictures. If I have to take words and convert them into pictures in my head, that's when I make mistakes. But you show me most anything once, and I should be good.
And I was asked Star Trek old or new generation. I that new stuff doesn't even exist in my world. I don't want to get into it because he'll get all crazy about it. We started watching some of the new stuff, but we just couldn't finish. It wasn't good. I like 90s Trek. That's kind of my jam. So, I don't know.
DS9.
DS9 and TNG.
I grew up on TOS, so that's what, the original series and the movies, that's what I grew up on. But when TNG came out, I was like, well, what the hell? I was living in San Francisco then, and I was like, it's been a while, it's new Trek, let's see, let's give it a chance. And it was kind of a rough landing. I thought it was kind of silly, but then they caught their stride.
Season 3 started with the 3 episodes, one after the other. I can't remember what order, but it was Q Who,
Oh, what a great episode.
Yesterday's Enterprise,
One of the best TNG episodes, period. I'll fight for that to the end.
and The Offspring, which makes me like cry. It's with Data's daughter.
Yeah.
And then everything was great.
Then everything was great. Yeah, no, that's true. Man, Yesterday's Enterprise. It was like, when I first watched Yesterday's Enterprise, I was like, these writers are on their game. It's like classic era science fiction, but it's not like weird and intellectual and, nerdy and strange stuff like that. It's like, it's a great episode. And why they had Enterprise C was in service for 23 years. 23 years. Instead of doing Discovery, literally 23 years. Imagine the number of stories in there. And yeah, Captain Garrett dies at the end. She's the last captain of the sea. But they had people. She could have been serving on that ship for 10 years, 15 years. So many stories, and they didn't do anything with it.
I told you he'd get going.
It's just such lost potential. Instead, we got a TV show about mushroom navigating starships that have a turning dish for some reason relating to mushrooms. And it happens to look like all the other Federation ships because it has the dish it has the big saucer section, except this saucer section rotates for some reason. We've got to find a way to make a new ship, but it has to have a dish. Sorry, go on.
Can I carry on?
Sure.
Okay. About my video with the Milsionic watches, E3 Kim, I have one of those Milsionic Pac-Man Kim watches with the joystick.
You keep reading. I read this comment. I forgot. I wanted to look through the box of junk watches. I'm coming right back.
He's coming right back. Now that we're in the garage, he has to run away. Just posted a video of it on my Instagram. I also posted a review about it on Fifth Wrist a while back. So many hours of fun. I'm very jealous. I wish I had one. What is he doing? Anyway, that's really cool that it had a joystick, and I'm sure that when kids got them back in the day, they played them during class. It got yelled at a lot.
How do you not break the joystick? Was it just like a button? Was it like a literal little joystick? I swear I have seen a Milsionic in this box. This is my box of nobody cry a tear. Okay, this is like the dross of all these years so long ago buying watch lots. And frankly, there are a lot of really crappy watches, and a lot of them ended up in here. So, honey.
What? Are we going through a junk box of watches right now?
Here's, we could make a hand segment out of this.
I guess.
Do you want to or not?
Sure.
So I saw that big shell, but it was the rock was dirty, and so I had to wait to get home. But I did see while I was walking home that at least part of it where it was a shell made of these little pin-like vertical calcite rods. And that's the tell basically for a brachiopod species called Inoceranus. And that they're the only ones that had that shell construction. So those things are there. And it looks like it was an Inoceranus, but you can see that all the layers have been smashed. Like everything is collapsed in. And something about the soil leached away the ammonite shells, because the thing was in basically a block of ammonite stuff, but most of the ammonites had just been reduced to shapes in the sand. But this other thing, the brachiopod, was like all just smashed together and was mixed up with all this other stuff. I think there might be some fish bones in there.
I don't even know how you saw it. It was just like a triangle. And then you find a giant fossil.
No, I looked over and I saw the top curve of that shell.
Oh, I thought it was just the triangle bit sticking out.
Wait. Are you talking about the ammonite shell or the big chunk of rock?
The big chunk of rock.
I looked over it and I was like, there's that gray sandstone, just like we have up at the house, all that stuff underneath the lake. Mm-hmm. And I said, and I looked at the shape, and I could see that it was a shape, and I picked it up, and there it is. Mm-hmm. pretty amazing stuff. I'm amazed. I'm amazed. It's just lying there. Oh, and what else did I find? What?
I don't know what you found. I'm thinking that.
Yeah, I talked to you about it, man. That guy's his PhD thesis.
Oh no, I thought you meant a rock. I thought that's what you were going to say, but then you said what else I found, and I was like trying to think of all the hundreds of rocks we've gone through.
Oh my God, so many rocks. But we've also been finding what we believe might be tools, worked stones. But just today, reading about this stuff, trying to figure this stuff out, doing research on that piece of ammonite shell we found, I was like, well, maybe this is pottery. Because it looks like it's glazed on the inside, but that could also be the original mother of pearl coating. So I'm looking up how to identify pottery. And I'm looking up, okay, pottery Fort Collins. And I bring up this guy's paper, and it's full of all this information I was completely unaware of. Like, there was a semi-nomadic population of indigenous peoples here, like here. Like,
in our house?
well, basically, they, and this is like from, so far, the furthest back dates they found are 3,600 years before the current year. And so they have carbon dating of this one structure, of this one line of people, and it was basically like a stone roundhouse. Mm-hmm. And it was up in one of the hogback valleys, like back there. Before the mountains start, the uplifting would take the crust and it would push it up like this. So you get these crust things like this with all these sedimentary layers, and they look like hogbacks. When I was little, I used to call them cookie mountains because they look like cookies from the side, like those sugar wafers. Mm-hmm. But so in between every single one of those layers of the crust that went up as you're heading west, every one, there's this valley in between each one. And so they were semi-nomadic. They would spend their winters there in like little valleys in the sides, in the southern facing sides of one of those hogbacks. And then that was winter. And then in the summer, they would go up and they would do loops through like the Winter Park area and stuff. And that would be like their spring and summer and their fall. And they would do this big loop, and then they would go and head south, and then they would finish back up, back at their camp. But that building, that one building, was continually inhabited for like 2,600 years. I had no idea. It's like not even 5 miles from here.
And now their land goes to evil, old, white Christian ladies up in Winter Park.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. We're talking about somebody I know personally. She knows personally. We aren't making any aspersions.
No, we're talking about a very specific lady. I was not saying mean things about Christians. I'm talking about the stereotype of the older woman who smiles and then she's talking crap about you behind your back.
Imagine it's that special kind of middle-aged and older lady at church who's really like Queen Bee and gossipy and in with everything, and she assumes this kind of ownership feeling, especially because she will have been there for a long time. But that cold, cutting, remote gaze of the really, really evil, self-described Christian ladies.
Yeah, so we're talking about a very specific person that he has known his whole life.
Yeah, we're talking about a specific person, but I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who can think of somebody in their lives who was, involved in religion and maybe didn't live that religion very well. Oh, she was a terrible person.
She's still alive.
I haven't looked. I know John's dead, which is he was a nice guy, but she's a yikes.
Yes.
Okay, but anyway, so I want to go up and I want to start learning more about this stuff. Mm-hmm. All these people that were here. And because I've always been so sad that they left no trace. I mean, I couldn't find it. It's like they just vanished into the wind. It's everywhere. We just don't know how to see it. I mean, the first Folsom points. Folsom was like the first peoples that we believed at that time who came over, and they hunted megafauna. So, American rhinos and obviously bison and mastodons and all that stuff. Big animals. And so when they were here, they weren't using bow and arrows. They were using big spearheads. I mean, big spearheads because they had to get really close to angry mammoths. I just read something about mammoths too, is that compared to a mammoth, the skeleton of an elephant looks lightly built and sort of graceful. And mammoths were apparently these just monster trucks.
Were they like size, like height wise? Were they bigger, taller?
They were
too?
much bigger. They were much taller. They were more heavily built. I think they were much more heavily muscled. It might have to do with the fact that they had to pack on a lot of fat
Right.
to keep going. But I don't know. They moved a lot. They were all over the place. But yeah, that's the thing. So if you're a group of literal Stone Age people, and dinner is, you know, a small building, an angry building with giant tusks, you need the biggest head on your spear that you can get. But those people, that culture was discovered 2-3 miles north of where I grew up. So we just haven't been looking. All of those things are here. We just need to find it. How many people stepped over that literal fossil? It was right in the middle of the trail.
I don't know. I thought you had to dig for fossils and arrowheads and stuff. I didn't realize that if you just look in gravel, you might find it. I guess the you know, the rock company or whatever, they did the pre-digging for you, the quarry people.
Well, yeah, you know, everything's shaken out and rushed down the river. And how many times do you think an indigenous person here lost their arrow or their arrowhead in the damn river?
Mm-hmm.
Because where do animals go? And where do they stand still for a little while?
In the river.
In the river. And so that's what you're going to want to do. And then you lose your God blessed arrow head. And you're like, well, crap. But the great thing is, being that this is Colorado and those are the Rocky Mountains, and they went through all kinds of volcanic magma, you know, changing, you're going to find a lot of great stones to make a new one. You can make a new arrowhead. And what that leads me to, because as you know as well as I do, every single rock here, every single river rock here that we have ever examined is an ammonite. So if you go on like the arrowhead subreddit, I kind of chuckle about it. People are like, look at this arrowhead, look at this thing I found. And almost without exception, I can see the ammonites in them.
I see ammonites all the time in like every rock. I'm gonna go insane. Let me find a rock.
No, it was like that one time we were picking up food from Chick-fil-A, right? And this being Fort Collins, northern Colorado, our architecture style is buildings made of giant slabs of redstone, sandstone, red sandstone. And so that's what the Chick-fil-A is. And so we're sitting there waiting to pull around and pick up our stuff and go home. And I'm looking at the rock in the wall, and I was like, and somebody was like, what are you looking at? And I just pointed out of the car. And I pointed at the thing. And I said, generally, I said, can you see it? And Sadie said, I hate that I have to say yes.
Okay, would you say that this is a good example
Of of this stone? Sure.
of an ammonite?
Yeah, this is the thing is they're all the same shape. They're all the same shape, but the rock material changes constantly. So you look for the shape, you look for that center, for the pinwheel, and see the lines coming out from the center? Those are the septa, those were the lines between the chambers. So you can see, like, you look at that. I mean, there's the middle right there, and there's a round, and then there's another round. If you keep your eye on that little middle piece at the bottom, if I can hold it steady, you can see the circles. Yeah, there was this guy, he was in New Mexico, and he found this beautiful arrowhead out of this slightly champagne yellow clear material, but it had these and he was holding it up kind of to the sun. Mm-hmm. So it was clear, and shining through it, you could see the brown stripes of the voop, voop.
Really?
Voop, yep. And I said, ammonite. And they were like, what?
Okay, we've just been talking. But this is what we do every night.
Oh yeah, this is us. This is normal.
So you guys just happen to be here.
Maybe we'll split this off and have a Friday afternoon club chat.
Okay.
Something like that. I think that might be a good idea. That way, anybody who just wants to for some reason, see us talking, they can do it. Anyway, so we're going to have to start up like a, I don't know, archaeology channel.
Okay. Not a Spencer gets annoyed about X, Y, and Z.
We're learning so much about minerals. No, why are you laughing? It's
No,
amazing.
I'm laughing about something Sadie said.
There's this mineral called serpentinite. It's this beautiful, soft, soapy, like ungrained green stone, and it was used a lot by Native Americans did a lot with it, but also Egyptians and some other stuff. I found a chunk of a beautiful, smooth piece of it, big enough, like big, nice thing, just sitting there. So much mineral stuff, and I swear, we found a lot of semi-precious stones, and I swear we've seen metal flakes, not mica, not something that's like fool's gold or something else like that.
Well, this one, where did I put it? Because I sorted everything. There's some freaking rocks everywhere.
Everything's rocks. There's rocks everywhere.
Rocks. Wow, I hope we are making a second video.
Why?
Well, because this is going to go on forever.
Okay, well, why don't we make another video of just ammonites and talking?
So, should you pause it or stop it?
Well, no, this is going to be the end of the chat video. How about that?
Okay.
Does that work for you?
Yeah, that works.
Okay, so folks, we didn't mean to have Let's Hang Out and Chat video. That just kind of happened. But this is how we interact all the time. But we're going to have, I guess we're going to make a second video. We're going to talk about rocks.
Ooh, and then maybe we'll talk about the junky watches too. I don't know.
Yeah, no. We're going to make a separate video for just the jump. I mean, because I have the bench clean for a reason.
Cool.
All right. So let's do that, folks. But thank you for watching this segment. And I guess we're doing some more stuff. Okay, folks. But that's the end of this one. Thank you.